We've run training programs for banks in our country here, Nigeria, and in this video, these are the exact concepts and strategies we've taught a lot of account officers and relationship managers that have helped them exceed their sales targets, make them radically better, much more improved in their ability to sell. Some of them, their closing ratio moved from maybe 1 to 10 to as close as 7 to 10. This means for every 10 meetings they were going for, they were able to close like 7 of them. So I'm going to show you in this video some of the concepts we've taught them and how you can use them to grow your sales. This is a continuation of our video from the first part, where we looked at selling skills for bankers or banking selling techniques. My name is Yoro Gwigwe, trained over 25,000 salespeople across 5 countries, Nigeria, Ghana, USA, UAE, Rwanda. I'm an author of several books and resources on sales. I worked at an organization where I was going to target to sell to 20 high net worth individuals. That was a bank, Diamond Bank to be precise, and I was able to bring in 21 high net worth individuals to the bank in a single month. I also participated in a sales competition where I won, and I was sent for the World Cup for an all-expense paid trip at Diamond Bank as well. I also moved to another organization, Standard Chartered, where I was able to double my portfolio by 500% in just 11 months. So in this video, I'm currently the CEO of Ultravantage and our specialties in Salesforce management. So I'm going to show you some of the techniques I was able to use to exceed sales targets and some of the things that we teach bankers today to be able to do well in their financial profession. So yesterday, we started talking about the importance of the right psychology when it comes to your sales targets. We also looked at understanding your audience, which is the first part to be able to sell and sell successfully. Niching, choosing a target audience, and it's so key if you understand that concept. The next part is in your communication skills. And you see, in your communication, you must understand that one key part of communication is body language. In communication, 7% is the content of what you're saying. 38%, let me just try to open my notes. 38% is your tone of voice in communication. This means that the strength of a communication will be based on how you allocate these 3 things: body language, content, tone, body language. Content, 7%, tone of voice, 38%, body language, 55%. So just imagine, if 55% of your success in communication is body language, this just tells you that you can't use content alone as a basis of communication. Now, content is pivotal because if the content is wrong and inappropriate, it doesn't matter the tone of voice and body language, it wouldn't still get across effectively. That's why content holds at least something, 7%. Everything must find expression in a communication to be effective. Tone of voice, content, tone of voice, and body language. Now, think about the fact that 90% of your body is covered with clothes. This means that even when it comes to body language, 90% of your impressions you make on a prospect will be based on what you're wearing. So how you look, how you appear, how you present yourself goes a long way to color the prospect's image or to color the prospect's interpretation about what you're saying. It will determine if what you're saying will hold weight or not. Imagine somebody's poorly dressed, for example. That poor dressing psychologically would even affect their confidence and their tone of voice. This means that out of 55% in body language, possibly 0. Out of 38% in tone of voice, maybe just a 10. Content, maybe you get content 6. 10 plus 6, 16% of 100. That will be poor. Communication can't go through. Now, in the financial profession, it is expected that everybody should learn how to wear a tie. Everybody should be able to wear at least a white shirt or a sky blue shirt. No dark colors, no black, then a jacket, dark colors, blue jackets, black, gray, navy blue, black, gray, dark colors. Even for the ladies too, dark colors in most cases. Now, my point is, you want to dress the best possible. Somebody says, okay, Yuri, but I think I'm dressed properly enough. Just check how your directors are dressing. Check how your CEO is dressing. You may not be able to dress like them in quality of material or clothing, but in style, you should be able to dress that way because they are the standard you're looking at in your organization. Maybe you run a branch, for example. Maybe you're a branch manager. Are you aware that you need to ensure that you do a dress audit of your salespeople? Don't say things like, but they are just DSCs, for example. Don't say they're just DSCs. Insist. What you insist on is what people will comply on or what people will comply by. So continue talking about it and discussing the matter around dressing. I worked with a branch manager many years ago who really emphasized on the importance of our dressing. Every time someone was poorly dressed, he spoke about it. When people were properly dressed, he complimented. That's why he was trying to nudge us and inspire us to want to dress properly. Even on Fridays, he used to tell us that we don't dress down on Fridays. He said, why? Because when you dress down on a Friday, in the prospect's mind, he doesn't know what dress down means on a Friday. All he knows is that this is my account officer, this is my relationship manager, and he has come to serve me or do business with me. So you want to present yourself in the best way possible so that they will take you seriously. There's a story of a financial institution. The head of sales or the manager had traveled with his team to one of the states here around the West. And when he traveled there, he was meeting with the governor. After they were done with the particular conference, the governor says, okay, come, let's take pictures together, let's take photographs together. This man comes on stage with the governor. Paparazzis were there to take photographs. When he saw the head of sales standing next to him, the head of sales was wearing a t-shirt, that's their complete t-shirt, and a jacket. And apparently some of his guys that came, the DSCs that came with him for that conference, they couldn't even buy the t-shirts. So they just wore, or they didn't have the t-shirts on. So they just wore their normal white shirts, tie, and jackets. Before the photos were taken, when he saw the head of sales standing next to him, he just said, hey, move here. Let those who are properly dressed come and stand next to me. And that was how the pictures were published in the papers. And this head of sales was not in the photographs. At least not with the governor. He had his other junior staff standing next to the governor. Just to show you that the governor did not even take time to recognize and check who is this standing next to me. He just judged him based on what he was wearing at the spur of the moment. Now, my point to you is this, ladies and gentlemen. Man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. This means that you want to make sure that when you are dealing with man, you want to project yourself the best way possible. Now, when you've gotten your dressing right, you've gotten your audience right, you've got your dressing right, you want to practice, you want to also use what we call emotional appeal. This is my third point here. Emotional appeal. How do you drive and inspire emotional appeal? It's by listening. It's by listening. Selling is not talking. I'm aware that, a lot of times when we sell financial instruments, we meet people and we say things like, oh, I'm from XYZ Bank. In our bank, we offer credit cards, we offer savings accounts, we offer current accounts, we offer corporate accounts. If you have a loan, if you need a loan, we can give you loans as well. We have domiciliary accounts. We give you dollar cards. When they go for meetings, they say everything they have. They say everything they have. And you see, that's not selling itself. The moment you meet your prospect and you're talking more than they're listening, the average person doesn't even have the skill to listen. Because listening is a skill. It requires training on how to listen. In today's world, attention span is very short. Because attention span is very short, you want to also play on that knowledge and use it to your advantage. Because attention span is very short, I can't meet you as a banker and start to tell you everything we offer in a bank. Because attention span is short, what I have to do is ask you questions so that you can do the talking. Because when you are talking, you cannot be distracted. However, when I'm talking to you and you are the one listening to me, you may be distracted. But if I'm asking you questions and you're the one talking to me, you cannot be distracted. So you don't want to fall into that trap of losing the prospects just because when you got there, you started talking about your account, talking about everything you have. Rather, you want to structure your conversation to ask questions. And there are two types of questions you can ask, ladies and gentlemen. You can ask closed-ended questions and open-ended questions. Two types of questions. What's the difference? Closed-ended questions that you use to end the conversation. That's what I believe you use closed-ended questions for. Use closed-ended questions to end the conversation. Use open-ended questions to open the conversation. Closed-ended questions. How are you, sir? Closed-ended. What time is it? Closed-ended. What do you have for lunch? Closed-ended. What kind of business are you into? Closed-ended. Questions that you can answer with a single syllable, yes or no, or single word. But open-ended questions, which open the conversation and bring about trust and build trust, are questions that you can't answer with a single word or syllable. You have to explain and explain. Before I go into open-ended questions, just imagine if you wanted to close a sale with the client, and you said, "All right, sir, what name would you like on the okay, sir, can I have your name for the account opening form? Or, okay, sir, this is please fill your name here. You see, all these things are all this style of asking, okay, sir, can I have your name on the account opening form? What name would you like on the form? Or how many signatures would you be opening this account in? You see, these are closed-ended questions. And I'm asking these questions as though you have already said yes. That's how you use closed-ended questions. You assume the person has already said yes before the person says yes, and you go ahead. Oh, sir, which card would you be taking? Would you be taking a debit card or a credit card? You see, that's closed-ended questions. So use them to close the sale. Open-ended questions, on the other hand, bring about the conversation. This is how you start the conversation. This is where rapport can be built. This is where trust can be built. This is where likability can be built. And you do this by asking general questions about what they do. If, for example, you're an SME banker, or SME banker will be a very good example, and you walked into a business and you wanted to have an understanding of what this business was about. Instead of just saying, okay, sir, good morning, sir, from XYZ Bank. Hope you don't mind when we have meetings like this, we'd like to ask our clients a few questions. Can I go ahead and ask you a few questions, sir? What am I doing? I'm asking for permission to ask questions, which is good. You need to ask for permission to ask questions. But when I start asking you questions, I can't just say, how's business been, sir? It won't take me anywhere. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to use the principle of the longer the questions, the longer the answer will be. The shorter the question, the shorter the answer will be. Instead of saying, how is business, sir? Why don't I say, okay, sir, we've been, our bank has been working around this area for a few years now, and we're doing business with quite a number of people. We looked at how this industry is, and we see that this industry has its peak periods and has its downtimes. I see that you've been here for quite a while. This means that you're doing something right. You're able to manage your peak periods and your low periods. So how are you coping, and how are you able to make this work consistently? At least based on this, we can understand your business better and see how we can do business with you. What have I done? I've asked a longer question, which will provoke a long answer and can make the person start to give me a lot more information. Now, when this information is coming, I practice emotional appeal by using what we call active listening. This means that my intention will not be to reply. My intention will be to understand. Once the prospects can know that I've understood them, they are more likely to understand me when I'm communicating to them. Because I must give my attention first before the prospects can give me their attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first step is, number one, mental disposition. My intention is not to reply. My intention is to understand. I want to understand this person and his business. Because when a person feels understood, they will trust me and see that they will feel valued and want to do business with me a lot more. The second thing you want to practice is physical disposition. I'm taking you through 7 steps to effective listening right now. Number 1, mental disposition. Number 2, physical disposition. I want to sit to face you. I want to make eye contact. I want to nod to let you know that I'm with you. Number 3, I want to ask questions I want to make sounds to show that I'm listening. Sounds like, okay. Oh, I see. Have you been on the phone with someone before, and when the person is talking to you, the person says, are you still there? Why is the person asking that? Because the person is not hearing sounds of affirmation. So you want to make sound, I see. You also want to ask questions for clarification. Number 4, just in case the person is speaking and you missed the points. Okay, you ask questions for clarification. But you don't interrupt the person to give any information of value. You don't say, oh, sir, don't worry, we already do work with haulage businesses, so we know exactly what you need. Then you start to provide a solution. No. Let the person finish. Because trust can be built instantly. Trust can be built instantly. And how do you build trust? Trust is built through listening. Someone says, Yuri, but can trust really be built instantly? Yes, because you met him. If you meet a medical doctor today, he can tell you to take off your clothes, and you go ahead and take off your clothes. But you just met him today. If you get into a plane and you meet pilots, you don't check the certification or anything, but you just decide to follow him, and it takes you to places that you have never been to. If you met a dentist, you just open your mouth and the person starts to deal with you, but you just met him for the first time. Yes, because trust can be built instantly, and that's some level of trust. So I'm telling you now that if you listen this way, trust can be built instantly. Number 5, do not interrupt. Do not interrupt. You can interrupt to ask questions for clarification, but don't interrupt to give any information of value. Let the person finish. Number 6, when the person is done talking, pause. Pause to show that you're trying to digest what has been said. You're trying to process for interpretation. And who knows, maybe the person is not done talking. The person just took a break from the conversation and wants to pick up in a few seconds. So you pause for 3 to 5 seconds. And finally, number 7, you paraphrase and you reply. You want to make sure that you apply these 7 principles. Because across these 7 principles, some people prefer, for some people, it may be, if you ask a prospect, sir, how do you know I was listening to you? You'll be amazed. He may tell you, oh, you were taking notes because you were, or he may say, I saw the way you were nodding. I saw the fact that you made eye contact. He may say, oh, you ask questions for clarification. You never can tell what the client would say. So it's better you apply all the 7 techniques in every sales engagement. Then, ladies and gentlemen, number 4, you want to practice confident speech. Confident speech. When it's time to communicate, after you've listened to your prospect, you've identified needs, you've taken notes down. Remember, one of the very first things a salesperson needs to have is a notepad and a pen. One of the very first things a salesperson needs to have is a notepad and a pen. It takes priority before any other thing. We don't take notes in sales meetings with our phones or our tablets because the prospects could think that you are doing something else. And we don't want to give any room for doubts or assumptions about us. A notepad and a pen, very key. And the type of pen is important. Now, I'm not telling you to get a Mont Blanc or something very expensive, but at least get something that looks presentable and a proper leather-bound, if possible, notepad or diary. Not a notepad, a Sade Words Emmanuel kind of notepad. That won't work because as a banker, you want to project yourself and project the bank in the highest way possible. Then, confident speech. You must believe your bank is the best. You must believe that your bank is the best. Don't say things like, this other bank is doing this other bank is doing that. No matter what other banks are doing, understand that you have your own unique value proposition. And that is where, at your own points of expertise, no other bank can compete with you. Focus on that. In business, we do not sell our similarities, we sell our differences. The basis of a business is its difference, not its similarity. This means that at the top level, at the management level, the bank is constantly thinking about its difference because that's the basis upon which it is alive and it exists. So if you say things like, we are the same, all banks are the same, all their products are the same, the question is you probably don't know the products enough yet. I was running a training program not long ago. That training program, the bankers were saying, all banks are the same, their products are homogeneous, we just copy each other. Thank God there was somebody in that class who stood up and said, let me do you an analysis. And he talked about 4 or 5 banks, looking at different products, and he was showing the difference between all those banks and their own bank. To let you know that if you understand your products properly and what you do properly, you will see that your bank is different. And that difference is what should give you confident speech when you're communicating. Conviction. See, we don't need to work on conviction. We don't need to try and convince people. When you are convinced, you'll be able to convince others. When you are persuaded, you'll be able to persuade others. Number 5, credibility in persuasion. Credibility in persuasion. When you want to persuade, you just don't want to talk with conviction. You also want to have some facts on the table. And where do you get your facts from? You must learn how to sell your bank. Before you communicate anything of value, possibly you've listened to the prospects and you found out that they need a loan, they need a salary account for their staff, he needs an account for his kids, whatever it is that you've identified. Before you start to communicate the value or the benefits of your products or services as a bank, sell your bank first. Tell them about your bank. What are the things you need to tell them about your bank? Things that will be important to them. How long has your bank been in existence? Among all the banks, what number or position is your bank? Have you gotten any awards in your bank? Have you been the consolidation that is happening or the capital base criteria that is currently happening right now? Has your bank been able to meet it? What are you going to talk about? Talk about the things that the person will be interested in. How many clients have you served? How many branches do you have nationwide? Who is the bank MD? You see, sell the bank to this person so that the person knows that, wow, see, people don't know your bank. You think people know your bank. The reason why you think people know your bank is because they've seen adverts on TV. And you've said things like, they've seen adverts on TV, they know us. Or they see your branches around and your signages and they say, they know us. They only know you based on your color and what the name is. But the very essence of what your bank stands for and who you are, they don't really know. This is what you must do as a salesperson. You must sell the bank first. Just divide this thing I've told you to do right now. Just 5 key points. Just mention 5 key points. We've been in existence for this long. We are specialists in this. We've been awarded this. Just mention like 5 points about the bank. And that way, the person will know that, wow, this is the bank I want to do business with. In the order of decision making of a prospect, the prospect will first of all look at the salesperson and say, do I like or trust you? The prospect then think about the salesperson and say, do I like your bank? Before any other thing else. So if they like you, they know you, they like you, they trust you, but they don't like your bank, they will not do business with you. They may just say, take this, thank you so much for coming, but they won't do business with you. So you want to sell your bank first. Then storytelling in persuasion as well. Storytelling. You want to tell stories to persuade when you're selling financial instruments. What are the stories? Where are your testimonials? Stories of before and after. Oh, before we met Mr. Jegede, he was going through this in his business. After we did business with him, we gave him a loan. Right now, his business has expanded to 10 locations. And he's happier than ever before. So where are your success stories? Well, stories of people who were going through a lot, and when they met your bank, they moved from zero, they moved to hero. A testimonial is not, oh, after we gave them a loan, the man who was so happy, he referred us to 3 other people in his community. That's not a testimonial. A testimonial is not about how he referred you and how you met your target. No, a testimonial is what happened to him as a result. Where was he before and what happened to him after? The before and the after. How many testimonials do you require to share? At least 3 testimonials. If you share 3 testimonials, you'll be able to move the prospects to make a final or a buying decision. And finally, don't forget to cross-sell and upsell as well. What's cross-selling? Cross-selling is selling complementary products or services to a prospect to help them enjoy the service a little more. Somebody has a current account, you offer a credit card. Somebody has a current account, you offer a savings account. Somebody has a business account, you give them internet banking. It's a cross-selling. You must always plan to cross-sell or upsell. What's upsell? You're selling a higher package of an existing version. Maybe you have an SME account, a basic SME account. You have a medium SME account. You move them to a higher SME account. That's upselling. Or they had a medium SME account, move them to a higher SME account. That is upselling. Or they had a corporate account with a CEO with a CO with zero COT with a fee for COT, but you now move them to a higher corporate account where there's zero COT. That's upselling. So you want to make sure you upsell and cross-sell. And for you to upsell and cross-sell effectively, you must practice what we call the takeover mentality. This means that when you sell, you want to make sure that 100%, you don't want to give any room for any competitors to come in and do business with them. Thank you for watching today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Remember to like, please share this video with other bankers who don't need to watch this video. Watch this next video if you haven't watched this as well, and please subscribe. Talk to you soon.